Segment of the show is Candace Summers with the McLean County Museum of History. A good Friday, Candace. How are you today?
I am great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How's the fall treated you so far?
I couldn't have asked for a better week to do the Evergreen Cemetery Walk. I honestly can say in my 17 years of doing this event, I don't think we've had every single day with sunshine and cool temperatures. I'm like, what kind of lucky streak am I on? And do I need to go buy a lotto ticket now?
Right. Now, so I always catch you, Candace, kind of towards the end of the month. Like we caught up at the end of August, and by the time we catch up in September, like we're well into the swing of the fall season. So when does like fall officially start for you? Like, is it right after Labor Day? Is it like, does the temperature have to like regularly get to a certain level? Do the leaves have to change? Where does fall start for you?
Fall starts for me when Cemetery Walk tickets go on sale, and that this year was August 30th.
Hey, there you go. That's perfect. Cemetery Walk, by the way, Candace, let's dive into it. When is it? Can folks still get tickets? What's going on?
Yeah, so this weekend is our final 4 performances of the Evergreen Cemetery Walk, and you can still get tickets. Tickets are very low for this Saturday's 11 a.m. performance, but there's still a good number for the performance at 2 o'clock on Saturday and also the 11 and the 2 o'clock on Sunday. But I highly recommend getting them as fast as you can because I can't guarantee that there'll be any for sale at the gate. So you can buy them online, you can stop by the museum or at Evergreen Cemetery to pick up a pair or more today.
Very good. How has the cemetery walk gone so far, Candace? What's the turnout been like? What are folks saying? Give us some of your thoughts so far.
Yeah, so it's been a really great turnout. The first weekend was a little windy, I will be honest, but we had about 600 people come over the course of the weekend. And then, of course, during the week, we're doing school tours. And over the course of 4 days, Monday through Thursday, we do 3 tours each day. And we had about almost 1,600 students and chaperones come to experience the walk, and they get to come for free.
Oh, wow.
Thanks to sponsors like Evergreen Cemetery, who goes above and beyond being a partner. They're a financial contributor as well. Pantograph Media, Radio Bloomington. So many sponsors have made this event possible so that we don't have to charge students and they can come and experience live theatrical and historical history right out in a beautiful setting such as Evergreen Cemetery.
Very good. Do you mind previewing the stories that folks have heard? And I don't want to spoil too much for the folks coming out this weekend, but can you highlight the stories for this year?
Absolutely. So you're going to meet 7 individuals, including 1 couple. You're going to hear the story of Helen Clark McCurdy, who later in life, she decided to toss her hat into the ring of politics and was the first woman to ever run for public office in the city of Bloomington. And so at the time in 1915, Bloomington had just changed over to a commission form instead of aldermans like we have today. And so Helen made it through a round of 48 men to get on the regular ballot to try and become one of 4 commissioners for the city of Bloomington. Unfortunately, she was beat out by all those men. But I mean, that was really a huge thing for women at that time. Women in Illinois had just gotten limited voting rights in 1913 at the state level, also some partial federal rights. And so that allowed her to be able to become a candidate. So she's going to share her story about why she wanted to get involved in politics to help make a better Bloomington. And then you'll also hear a story of Alexander Erickson, who she ran against in that 1915 election. And he's going to share a story of why he became so active in local politics, not just as an alderman. He was a mayor at one time and a commissioner, but he also was on the school board, helped with the fire department, and had a longtime grocery store over on the Swedish neighborhood on the west side of Bloomington. And then you're going to hear from Ella Lee Stokes, who was a Black woman who spent most of her life in Bloomington. She worked at Williams Oil-O-Matic Company during World War II. She cooked and cleaned at a variety of wealthy people of Bloomington's homes, but she also spent some time working as a housekeeper in one of the brothels in Bloomington's red light district. And she is definitely going to share some interesting stories from her life.
Wow.
And then I know, I mean, Bloomington definitely had a very active red light district for a long time. It had a nickname called the Line because it actually like kind of was along the railroad tracks here in Bloomington for a time and lasted up until the 1950s, if you can imagine that.
Wow. Huh. Wow. I don't even know what to say. That's like
I know, right?
Yeah. Huh. Very nice.
And then we're going to hear from our visiting voice this year who we started this new program of a visiting voice where we invite someone who's buried in another McLean County cemetery last year. And this year we're featuring Paul F. Bike. Bike might be familiar to some folks in our listening area with Bike Candy Company. And he's actually buried at Park Hill Cemetery, which is across town from Evergreen. But he is, of course, going to share the story of how he got into the candy making business. And I mean, to me, he's kind of like our own Willy Wonka, although, you know, no cool elevator, no Oompa Loompas. But he definitely has a fantastic story to share with us and those who come to the cemetery walk. Each get a free mini crunch bar courtesy of Ferrero because Ferrero bought Nestle Candy Company and Nestle bought the Bike Company. So Ferrero is now today what was once Bike Candy Company. And then we're going to hear from David and Sarah Davis. And we've featured David and Sarah Davis on the walk before, individually by themselves. But this year we've brought them back together as a duet, and they're going to share fascinating stories from their long married lives, which a lot of it is documented in about 35 years worth of letters that they wrote back and forth to each other because they spent a lot of time apart, with David Davis being a traveling lawyer on the 8th Judicial Circuit and then off to the Supreme Court and then off to be a United States Senator. And Sarah herself traveled quite a bit back out east to visit friends and family. And so we have that information that we can share with people that not only, you know, tells people what happened in their lives, but also how much they loved each other, because it is very clear in their letters that they very much loved each other. And so we're thrilled to be able to have them to also celebrate the 150th anniversary of the David Davis Mansion here in Bloomington. And finally, we have the very colorful James Preston Butler, who also has a little bit of a connection to Clinton, like we've talked about before. But Press Butler, he was kind of a jack of all trades, did so many different jobs in his life. But what he's best known for was his work as a detective. And he hunted down thieves and burglars, even helped people find false teeth, if you could imagine needing a detective to find false teeth. Yes. But he was most known for his work tracking murderers throughout central Illinois, the entire state, and even across the nation. And so he helped find the murderers for several really well-known cases in the 1870s and 1880s, including the case of the murdered Aaron Goodfellow, who was a retired farmer here in Bloomington and was murdered by two men. One man was caught. His name was Patsy Devine. And Patsy Devine, he was tried twice. Once in Bloomington. He thought he got an unfair trial. And then he was tried again in DeWitt County, thinking he'd get a more fair trial there. He was wrong, and he was hung in Clinton.
Oh, no.
For his crime.
In Clinton, of all places.
Yes, in Clinton. So we have all of these stories to share with people. And we've been getting rave reviews. I mean, a lot of longtime people who've been coming to this event are telling us this is the best walk I've ever been on. And I've been on most of them. So it's really exciting. And it makes me so happy to hear.
Well, kudos to you guys for putting on a great performance again this year. Candace Summers with the McLean County Museum of History, our guest on the phone for this morning. And, you know, Candace, again, we highlight this weekend final performance for the cemetery walks. Now, if I'm remembering right, perhaps one of the benefits of COVID is that these will go online, if I'm remembering right. Am I remembering right?
You are remembering right. And that's what I'm doing out in the cemetery as we're speaking right now is we are filming the performances. That way we can put together that video and host it online October 4th, 5th, and 6th for those who can't join us in person, whether they don't live nearby, they just don't have the time, or they're physically unable to come to the walk. So you can enjoy it online for free, although we appreciate donations because it definitely takes a lot to put this event on, coming in early November. And then you can just watch it on our YouTube page. You know, you can watch a little bit at a time. You can sit down with a bag of popcorn and watch it all. So we're thrilled to be able to keep that online aspect going, even though, you know, COVID is much better today than when we did it in 2020.
Sure. So now, do you have to pay for that online access, Candace?
Not this year. This year, we decided to just make it free to anybody. But if you like what you see and you want to help us continue to be able to provide that online access for the future, there will be a donation link that you can click on and donate to help us keep this program going online and in person for many years to come.
Fantastic. Very good. Well, Candace, with the cemetery walk, I know you put a lot of work into this. You know, it's not it doesn't just come together, and you know, you don't just start up in August and it's together by the end of September. Talk a little bit about how much you have to do with this throughout the course of the year.
Oh, I mean, I feel like I eat, sleep, and breathe and dream this event. To me, it's a labor of love because we pull out all the stops for this event. We want to make this the best event that we can. It's our signature event. It's the biggest thing that we do every year. And so as soon as this walk is done, I'm already planning the next. I mean, I already started planning the 2025 walk in my head because that is the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II. So that's going to be a big cemetery walk in a couple of years.
Yes, absolutely. Look forward to it. Candace, where do folks go to learn about this weekend's performances? Be a part of them if they're so inclined.
Yeah, so go to our website, mchistory.org, and you can get ticketing information, buy those tickets by clicking the link on the front page, learn more about the characters. You can read their full biographies. You can find it on our Facebook page too.
Very good. Candace Summers is with the McLean County Museum of History. My guest on the phone here for this morning. More to come with her here on the WHOW Morning Show. WHOW. Candace, did you get to apple and pork?
Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn higher, beans higher, wheat also trading higher at this hour. December corn 673 3/4, up 4 1/4. March corn up 4.680. May corn 681 1/4, up 3 3/4. November beans 1420, up 9 1/4. January beans up 8 3/4, 1429 1/4. March beans 1433 3/4, up 9. December wheat 902 1/4, up 6. March wheat up 5 1/2, 913 1/2. December bean meal 412 even, up 480. October bean oil 67.13, down 35 cents. In the livestock market, October feeders 176.32, down $1. October live cattle 143.77, down 35 cents. October lean hogs 90.02, up 57 cents. In the energy market at this hour, November crude oil 80.78. That's down 45 cents. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network.
Despite supply chain issues, owner Dave Jackson's great team of employees at your Clinton Save-A-Lot are working to keep their shelves stocked to save you up to 40% every day. Find out more by clicking their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Peterson Insurance Services in Clinton is a 2014 Pekin Insurance Illinois Agency of the Year. Jay Peterson here from Peterson Insurance. Find out about Pekin's auto, home, or life insurance by clicking on our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show is streaming to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Candace Summers with the McLean County Museum of History, my guest on the phone. Candace, we talk about the cemetery walk wrapping up this weekend, which is going to lead us right into an annual event, what's becoming an annual event, the Dia de los Muertos event at the museum. What's going on here?
Yeah, so I think this is our 5th year now. And so before COVID, we would have a one-day event where we would have activities and music and food and games. Since COVID, we have just kept it to a display of an altar for Dia de los Muertos, where it's called an ofrenda. And what that is it's an altar that displays photos of our ancestors and leaves some of their favorite things with those photos. And when it is the Day of the Dead, this is a way that people can honor and remember those family members, but also with the hope that the family members in the beyond will see that they have not been forgotten and that their loved ones do think of them often and do miss them. And we've partnered with several of our Hispanic Latino groups here in McLean County, Conexiones Latinas, McLean County, Western Avenue Community Center, and those folks help build that ofrenda here at the museum. And so it'll be just on display from about the middle of October all the way to All Saints Day in early November.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. So look forward to that. And with that said, Candace, I mentioned it's kind of becoming an annual thing. Talk about the beginnings of this event.
Yeah. So in 2018, one of our members of our education team reached out to these groups and said, hey, we've been wanting to participate in an Day of the Dead celebration. And would you be able to help us make this happen so we can help teach people about Day of the Dead, the cultural traditions that go along, and educate the public? Because we have a very large Hispanic Latino community in McLean County in central Illinois. And so this was a great way to help include more groups in what we do, but also to tell those stories of the history of more people of McLean County. And so that first time we actually showed the movie Coco in Spanish, and we had some activities. We had face painting. People did some crafts and games. And then the second year we had a musical dancing group from a local church come, and more face painting, and it was really great. And of course, 2020 hit. We couldn't do all those fun in-person things, but we've been able to keep that altar. So in 2020, we had the altar outside, so anybody could safely see it. And then last year, because things were better, we had the altar inside. And so this year we're having the altar again with the hopes that next year we can bring back some more of those in-person activities and make it a big day of celebration again.
Yeah. Not to like derail the conversation and turn it into a Disney movie debate, but Coco, most underrated Disney movie ever made.
I agree. It's a great movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Absolutely. Right there with you.
Awesome. Candace, let's see. What did I miss as it relates to Dia de los Muertos at the museum?
We just invite everybody to come down and see the ofrenda while it's on display for a few weeks in October. And also, think about your ancestors, the people that you've lost in your life, and find a way to honor them too. And you can find out more information on Dia and the Cemetery Walk and all things McLean County history at our website, makehistory.org, or our Facebook page.
Very good. Candace, still a few minutes. Anything else you want to mention this morning as it relates to activity at the museum?
So something we have coming up that we're super excited about is we are participating in the Illinois Main Street Conference, where we'll have people from all over the state coming to learn about how they can better promote tourism in their neighborhoods and learn about different activities that will help bolster tourism. And so we're super excited to be hosting that event on the 19th and 20th of October. So we'll have like 120 people from all over the state of Illinois. We'll have local politicians here. I've heard rumors the Lieutenant Governor is going to make an appearance too, because she's very passionate about Main Street America and tourism and wants to help promote that for all the communities in our state.
That's a great deal. That's going to be really exciting, I feel like.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited. I think it's been a number of years since Bloomington has hosted this conference, and we're thrilled that the city of Bloomington reached out to the museum to see if they could use us as a venue. And of course we said yes. I mean, what a great opportunity to showcase what our museum does, our local history, and maybe inspire some people to do things like the cemetery walk in their own backyard.
Very good. Very good. So, Candace, like I said, I'm running out of time, about a minute and a half. Anything else on the calendar to talk about this morning?
No, we've got those great fall events coming up, and looking forward to Christmas time. We have our annual Christmas Under the Dome coming up the first Saturday in December. And for anything museum related, just go to our website, mixhistory.org, and you can see all the upcoming events and projects that we're working on.
Candace, again, you mentioned that website and the social medias. Just plug those one more time for us.
So we are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Apparently we're on TikTok now. That's a new thing for me. And so you can find all that information on our website, mchistory.org.
And again, Candace, just one more time, highlight the final performances of the cemetery walk this weekend.
They are Saturday and Sunday, 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. The 11 a.m. on Saturday tickets are running out fast. So get them while you can before they're gone.
Candace, it's always good to talk with you. Thank you for making time for us, and we will catch up perhaps next month and get a recap
Absolutely.
of the cemetery walk and talk more then. It's always good to catch up with you, Candace. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Candace Summers, McLean County Museum of History, my guest on the phone here for this morning. Network news on the way on the WHOW Morning Show. A reminder, the show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Beacon Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, network news on the way on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
The Big 1520 WHOW Clinton, 92.3 FM W222 BG Clinton, 106.5 FM W293 DJ Normal Bloomington.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Coastal South Carolina is watching and waiting for Hurricane Ian. Landfall expected early this afternoon near Charleston. The storm will come ashore during high tide, which could magnify the impact of its heavy rains, high winds, and storm surge. Georgia, North Carolina, and Southern Virginia are also bracing themselves. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says progress is being made as his state starts down the long road to recovery. For one thing, DeSantis says more and more gas stations are reopening.
It's just a matter of the gas stations need to have power to be able to operate. And if they have a certain number of pumps, they're required to have a